welcome to the It Factor. We're Jemmy and Nye, exploring a new blog post by Mr. Len Kaplan, CEO of CDML and MSP in Queens, NY, offering network management, VoIP and UCaaS, cybersecurity, compliance.IaaS, cloud and Microsoft 365 and Azure. If you're a small business owner or manage IT for a growing organization, this deep dive is for you. Stay tuned.
Yeah, small businesses, they rely so much on technology these days, and this blog post really dives into a pretty critical issue that they need to be aware of.
So let's unpack this. Len is sounding the alarm about the Windows 10 end of life, looming in 2025. He's urging small business owners like you to seriously consider upgrading to Windows 11 now, and I can see why. Think about it. No more security updates after October 14th, 2025.
Yeah.
That's a huge EE vulnerability.
Yeah, it's not just about missing the newest bells and whistles. Staying on Windows 10 after that deadline, it could expose your business to cyber attacks, data breaches. I mean, we're talking about real risks here.
And those risks have real-world consequences. I'm talking financial damage, lawsuits, reputational damage. That's hard to bounce back from. Yeah. Plus, non-compliance fines could pile on top of everything else.
Exactly. And, when you look at the enhanced security features in Windows 11, it kind of underscores how crucial this upgrade is. Len highlights things like hardware-based isolation, secure boot, and TPM 2.0 support, all designed to make your systems more resilient to attacks.
Okay, so break that down for me. How do those features actually protect my business?
Well, think of hardware-based isolation like having separate secure compartments within your system. Even if a hacker gets into one area they're contained, it's like damage control built right in.
That's a relief, so it stops the whole system from being compromised.
Exactly. Secure boot prevents malicious software from loading up. When you start your computer, it checks the digital signature of each piece of software, ensuring only trusted programs run, and TPM 2.0. It's like having a vault on your computer, encrypting your data at a hardware level.
So it's like having multiple layers of security working together.
Precisely. It raises the bar significantly, especially compared to older systems.
All right, but I know what you're thinking. Upgrading costs money. And I bet many small business owners are putting it off to save a few bucks in the short term.
It's understandable. But Len argues that delaying the inevitable could end up costing you more down the line. As we get closer to that 2025 deadline, demand for new Windows 11 compatible hardware will surge, and prices are going to follow.
So it's like a ticking time bomb. The longer you wait, the more expensive it's going to get.
That's the risk. Plus, there's the cost of downtime and disruption to your business. If you're scrambling to upgrade at the last minute, it's a lot to juggle.
And this is where Len brings in CDML and the services they offer to make this whole process as painless as possible.
Right. They offer a full suite of services: assessment, planning, execution, support. They can help you determine if a full upgrade is necessary, or if alternative solutions like a virtual desktop infrastructure or VDI might be a good fit.
Okay, I've heard of VDI, but could you explain that a bit more? For our listeners who might not be familiar, what exactly is that?
VDI essentially lets you access a virtual Windows 11 PC in the cloud. Instead of having physical computers, you and your employees would access everything through the internet. It's like streaming a movie. But for your whole computer system, this has some real advantages for small businesses. Lower upfront costs, because you're not buying new PCs. And it's super scalable. You can easily adjust the number of virtual desktops as your needs change.
So it offers flexibility as your business grows.
Exactly. But VDI does rely on a good internet connection, so that's something to consider.
Right. If your internet is spotty or slow, it's not going to be a smooth experience.
And you might run into compatibility issues with some older software. That requires a lot of processing power.
And of course, while it saves you money up front, there are ongoing subscription costs to consider.
Right. It's all about weighing those costs against the cost of purchasing and maintaining physical PCs.
So it's a trade-off, but one that could be very appealing for certain businesses.
Exactly. And this is where having a trusted advisor like CDML can be invaluable. They can assess your specific situation and help you determine the best path forward, whether that's a traditional hardware upgrade or exploring VDI.
And they can guide you through the entire process, from planning and procurement to installation and training.
Precisely. Having that expertise on hand can make all the difference.
You know what strikes me about Len's message? Is the sense of urgency he conveys. This isn't just about keeping up with the latest tech trends. It's about protecting your business.
Absolutely. The clock is ticking. The longer you wait, the more vulnerable you become, and the more expensive that upgrade might get.
And let's face it, Cybersecurity threats aren't going away. In fact, they're becoming more sophisticated all the time.
Right. So upgrading to a more secure system isn't just a one-time thing. It's about establishing a foundation for long-term resilience. In a digital world, that's always evolving.
So it's a proactive approach to safeguarding your business.
Exactly. And the peace of mind that comes with knowing your systems are secure, you can't put a price tag on that.
So where do we go from here? What's the next step for our listeners who are now thinking, okay, I need to get serious about this Windows 11 upgrade?
Well, Len strongly recommends reaching out to CDML for a personalized assessment. They can evaluate your current setup, your needs, your budget, and help you map out a plan.
It's like getting a checkup for your business's IT health.
I like that analogy. You wouldn't skip a regular doctor's appointment, so why neglect your IT infrastructure, especially with something as crucial as this looming deadline?
And speaking of neglecting things, we haven't talked much about the benefits of some specific Windows 11 features, like that hardware-based isolation we discussed earlier. Can you give us a real-world example of how that might protect a small business?
Sure. Imagine a scenario where an employee accidentally clicks on a phishing link in an email. That could unleash malware that tries to spread throughout your network and steal sensitive data like customer information or financial records.
That's a nightmare scenario for any business owner.
With hardware-based isolation, even if that malware got a foothold, it would be contained within that isolated environment. It wouldn't be able to access other parts of your system, minimizing the damage.
So it's like a safety net. That prevents a small mistake
Mm-hmm.
from turning into a full-blown catastrophe.
Exactly. It's a layer of protection that just wasn't there in older systems.
I'm starting to understand why Lynn is so passionate about this upgrade.
He sees the real-world impact these security features can have, especially for small businesses that are often more vulnerable to these kinds of attacks.
And he's not just talking about hypothetical threats. In his blog post, he mentions a few real cases where businesses suffered major losses because of outdated systems.
Right. He talks about a small manufacturing company that was hit with ransomware, locking them out of their own data. Until they paid a hefty ransom, they were down for weeks, lost production, and it almost put them out of business.
That's terrifying.
And it's a cautionary tale. It highlights why being proactive about security is so crucial.
It really makes you think twice about putting off that upgrade, doesn't it?
It does. And Len doesn't just outline the problems, he offers solutions. He really encourages listeners to visit CDML's website, not just for information on Windows 11, but to connect with them for a personalized assessment.
It's like he's saying, don't just take my word for it. Let's look at your specific situation and figure out the best way forward together.
Exactly. He understands that every business is different, and there's no one-size-fits-all approach to IT.
And his expertise shines through in the blog post.
Yeah.
You can tell he's genuinely passionate about helping small businesses thrive in the digital age.
Right. He goes beyond just the tech specs
The-
and talks about the bigger picture, how technology can be a real asset when it's implemented strategically.
And that brings us back to this crucial decision point for small businesses. Upgrading to Windows 11 isn't just about keeping up with the latest software. It's about investing in your business's security, compliance, and long-term success.
It's about recognizing that technology is constantly evolving, and businesses need to evolve with it. So true. And it's about being proactive, not reactive. Don't wait until a crisis hits to take action.
Well said.
I think we've covered just about everything in Len's blog post. We've explored the reasons behind the urgency of upgrading to Windows 11, the potential risks of delaying, the enhanced security benefits, and even alternative solutions like VDI.
And we've emphasized that this is a decision that deserves careful consideration, but it's not something to be intimidated by.
Right. There are resources available, experts like Len and his team at CDML, who can guide you through the process and help you make the best choice for your business.
I think our listeners are walking away with some valuable knowledge and hopefully a sense of empowerment.
I hope so too. So to our listeners, if you're feeling overwhelmed by this whole Windows 11 thing, take a deep breath. You're not alone. There are people who can help. Head over to CDML's website, check out Len's blog for even more detail, and don't hesitate to reach out to them. They're a fantastic resource for small businesses looking to upgrade to Windows 11 and navigate this ever-changing digital world.
You won't regret it. Thanks for listening to The It Factor. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay secure.